Here's a waste of time. You having a bad manager after 5 days, but you're about to open. And so instead, you do the wrong thing when we all do it. And then what it cost you was fucking 14 hours a week divided by 20 minutes and 2 hours at a time for 4 months, instead of just eating shit on the opening and you being the manager that day and teaching the kids through osmosis and letting one of them ladder up because they saw the right way to do it. We all make this mistake. How'd that one land for everyone? Yep, that's what I thought. Attention is the number one asset.
Gary, I always take the opportunity to be the first one. So thanks for being part of the call. But the big question I have is, how do we build a dynamic team where we could start hitting people up on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you think is best for us to get this local store marketing, to get influencers or get people that are going to attract to have that lifetime customer within our own stores that we're doing?
So what does the team look like that can do scaled hand-to-hand combat locally? Okay, two things, Vu, and this is good for everyone. And stay unmuted so we can go back and forth. First of all, real influencers are not excited to get a fucking for free and come make content. They're getting paid $3,000, $4,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a post. So I think first I want to make sure everyone's mentality is not audacious. I know that you want somebody that has 1 million TikTok followers to come into the store and make content, but they want you to pay $7,000 for that. So I want us to fall in love with something that's profoundly under the radar right now that is going to excite the shit out of all of you. This is going to blow your mind. What I'm about to say is true, but not that easy, but it's true. For the first time in social media's history, how many followers you amass is not a direct correlation of how many people you're going to reach. So I've worked my ass off for 15 years, and I have 15 million followers on TikTok. Followers on TikTok do you have?
I think like 3.
Great. So I have 15 million, you have 3. The fact that today you can go make a piece of content and I can go make a piece of content and post it on TikTok and your video might get more views than me is insane. Let's start with that. 2, I believe that the way you should be thinking about this, I'm gonna show it in detail on my phone right now. So I'm gonna go to Instagram, right? I'm gonna go to search. What town is your store in?
It's in Denver.
Beautiful, nice big town. Okay. So I am searching Denver, Colorado. You all see that, right? So there's the first thing is a hashtag. You all see that? You hit the hashtag. What that gives you is posts that are done in Denver, Colorado, right? What is interesting about this is you can just go through it and there's people, and we're all posted in Denver, Colorado. So I'm just using this young lady and I click and she's got 18,000 followers, which is not a massive, but pretty damn good. Then I hit message and now I can DM her. I believe that first, Vu, you have to have the right strategy. You have to search your town, and some of you have big towns like you, which will be more competitive, and some of you have smaller towns, which is actually weirdly potentially better. It's, there's pros and cons to Denver versus, let's say, a small town in the middle of Utah. But then you DM people that have 500 followers or 18,000, but you need to recognize anybody who's got 150,000 or more is gonna start looking for compensation. You need to fall in love with your business on the micro influencer, not the macro influencer. And for you, actually, ironically, the alpha mom that has 326 followers, who will be excited to get some free stuff and feel like they're important, her post might actually convert better for you than somebody who's got 1 million followers, because 1 million followers poster has a broad world and nobody's gonna go to Denver to buy your, whereas the local alpha mom with 497 followers who comes in and gets a free bowl and makes a piece of content, she actually will have a higher propensity of her piece of content being seen by other Denver moms.
So really what we should be doing is having a whole troop doing local store marketing through social media.
There's a lot there, so let me break it down. What you should definitely, all of you who have locations, if that's what you do for a living, searching your town, hitting the hashtag, and finding popular people or recent posts that have done well in your town. Then go to the person's profile like I did and DM them and say, would love for you to stop by for a free hour for you and your family anytime you want to come, and knowing only 1 out of every 8 will say yes to that, and doing that every day, all day, is a good use of time. And I'll tell you why it's really good for all of you. I would buy a second phone and leave it at the register and have cashiers do this during downtime. We have a wasted asset, every one of us, every day. It's called people standing there waiting for people to come in. And oh, by the way, weirdly, a lot of the kids that do that for us would be thrilled to do what the fuck I just said. That's what I would do.
Let's do it. So I love it.
Got you.
What's up? OG follower. I got a bunch of your 002 shoes. Is it unopened? At some point, you're going to sign one of them. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity.
I can't wait.
But so I own 9. We're opening some more. And I think we're all in the same case where when we open a new location, it's kind of exciting where nobody knows who we are, which is unlimited opportunity. But what would your first step, if you were going into a new town and you were opening it ever, I want to make this something that's good for everybody. If you were going to open your first, what would your first week look like, or month look like, or 3 months look like? Where would you spend?
Okay, so team, I'm answering this without knowing every rule between the franchisor and the franchisee, so I'm going to riff. And then, you've got to understand that I don't know every nuance of the market. So for me, and I think you do this for day 1 or week 1, I remember Jeff and I think over dinner talked about this, I'm obsessed with free product. I'm obsessed. Like I would hold my breath until I could with free product, because free works on everyone. And free creates behavior, right? Like if so the first thing I would do just is like really try to figure out how much I can afford to give away for free for how long, and maximize that to like not like easy, but like that's a little tough, like I really went there. So 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, like real shit. But I'd also be strategic, right? Like, and I'll get into how I would promote that, but like I'd also think about it operationally. Like, all right, this first week I'm opening, Tuesday, Wednesday, free all day. And then Saturday from 1 to 3, right? And then Sunday from 9 to, you see where I'm going. I'd be a little smart about like controlling it. Obviously more people are available to come for free on the weekend than you're playing. Plus you guys know your business better than I do. I'm trying to remember like day parts, what's going on with breakfast, lunch, dinner. So you're being strategic. You're trying to fill up day parts that are weaker with free. So free's big. 2, what I just told, it would be huge for me. Like, cause this, one great thing about opening a location, it's not like you're making a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. There's months that go into it. So if you know that let's play a little bit. What's your next location opening?
Rockwell, Texas in 5 weeks.
Great. How long have you known that Rockwell, Texas was locked in?
Specific open date about 4 days ago.
Great. Roughly
finishes next week.
But roughly when did you like lock in? Not without knowing specific date.
6 months ago is when we locked in the lease, yeah.
Great. Those last 11 months, I would start doing what literally for an hour a day. And more than an hour a day as you got closer. 11 months out, an hour a day, what I just told. And literally being like, hey, Nerea, it's me, and we're opening up 11 months in the Rockwell shopping center by the Dunkin', right? Just want to say what's up. Would love for you to come by when we come. Really want to be a pillar of the community. And I'm fucking not kidding, bro. Like late at night. By the way, this is how I built GaryVee in 2007 on Twitter. Replied to, like, it's hand-to-hand combat locally. All right? So I would definitely do that. I would definitely do free, because now notice what I'm doing. 11 months of building up a little juice. Then boom, you hit them with it doesn't even cost you to say it's free for the first week. Little local radio. I'm not against classic shit. A little newspaper free for that old media. And then the big one, couple $1,000 for the week on local Instagram and Facebook ads with a 5-mile radius to the store with the free call out. Or if it's not free, come and see me. I want to be a pillar of the community. Justin, come shake my hand. Maybe I got something for you. Like whatever the hook is, for all of you, 5-mile radius, Facebook and Instagram ads at about $500 a week in ad spend. All of it will do well or not well based on the video and picture you're doing. I've been doing this hardcore for my dad for 12 weeks in the liquor store. Last week, a monster. Parmesan cheese for $5.99 a pound when it's normally $20, killed. This week, we're trying 3 weird wines. We already know on Wednesday for Saturday, it's gonna be very soft. It's okay, trying different shit. $500 a week based on what I know the average box size of this company is, maybe $300. Definitely upfront 500, then you could slowly teeter off. You wanna get that nice push early on. That's why free works. That's why DMing for months works. That's why $500 a week in Facebook ads, 1-mile radius, 2-mile radius, 3-mile radius. In that scenario, I'll give you some other weird shit, everybody. You know what, this is weird. You're gonna love this. Especially in places like Stockwell, Texas, and smaller towns. I would also DM former college sports stars of the local area and offer them $100 to do an appearance fee. And like not pro athletes, they didn't make it to the leagues, but like if you're an hour away out of Austin, Texas, in a smaller town, there's many University of Texas football and basketball players that had good careers. You'd be stunned how many of them, if you DM them, you gotta be nerdy about it, you gotta have knowledge of who they were. You'd be shocked what like paying them a $250 appearance fee. Like, you know, a lot of these guys, as you probably, this will make sense to people, they didn't manage their money well. Like, fuck it, for an hour, like I'll come and get $500. But then you've got them in the content and they're gonna draw. So local celebrities, especially college sports in more rural areas, the hook.
Yeah, that's awesome. One other thing we found too is just like if they're already having an event, just offering to set up a table there for free. So like local foodies that are doing a Pilates class, all of a sudden we'll set up and they'll start sharing us to their followers for free, and super happy because we fed them after their workout. We didn't have to pay them $1,000 or go do whatever. We just made their event more valuable.
That's a great call out. And then if you film everything, so if you, like, let me give you an example. If you go and just give free to the Little League baseball team, but you film you going and surprising, delighting them for your content, you create goodwill. So surprise and delight filming, including your neighbors. Like, you'd be shocked how much of, like, I'm such a modern guy, but I have old school shit, right? So like, is your location gonna be standalone or in strip mall or what?
Mine's at a strip mall.
Like, if I'm you, real talk, like an honorable gentleman, grabbing 10 and going to every other store in that strip mall and being like, hey, I'm a new, yeah, fucking, I love that shit.
During training, all the that we make during training, we then go drop off to all the neighbors so they get to try our food first. And they become fans of us and they're posting about us to get their friends excited for the grand opening a couple days later. And yeah, we're continually getting better and better and better at this. And
let me throw something at all of you. Doing it with no expectation. Because if you do it with no expectation, then the sentence of, and if you like it, post it, then that changes the relationship. When goes to like the car wash across from his new location and he brings like 10 and they're like, oh, this guy's fucking rad, that's nice. And then he's like, hey guys, if you like it, post it. Yeah. Gave with expectation. As long as you can give at scale without it, people know. Like, you're opening a new fucking place. They know you're opening a new fucking place. They understand that you want some love if they can give it. If you don't ask, you'll get. You ask, you get less. So giving without expectation, but knowing karma is practical, is a very good local playbook. The local town, like I call it Santa Claus. Open with 1 month where you think you're Santa Claus. You're fucking going to the school, the camp, the fucking football practice, the fucking firehouse, just like you're a fucking good person. They're happy you're in town. especially in the business you're in, educate me team, there's clearly certain things that expire if it's not used anyway, right? Ish, you got a tight model, but like ish, right? Some of the toppings and right, like some of it. Even if that's not true, I think in that way a lot with food, right? Like it's gonna expire anyway.
Hey, Gary, it's my name's nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
Yes. So I would just like to turn that question on its head and ask, like, what do you think when we're opening our? What's a complete waste of time for us to do?
That's a great question. It's less about it being a waste of time. It's more of a, are you self-aware and humble? Let me explain. The last thing that's a waste of time is organic social media. But if you stink at it, then it might strategically be a big time sunk. So like GaryVee gets on a Zoom and talks properly that organic social media is the biggest opportunity, okay? So they're like, fuck it, Gary's done well, like let me take that advice. Now you're sitting in the places you're getting ready to open and it takes you 45 minutes to make a video because you don't know what to do and you hem and haw and you try to do it, and even if you knew what you were doing, it takes 45 minutes. But then like 2 people see it. I'd rather that 45 minutes be allocated to training, to going to the neighbor and giving them like, so what's a waste of time is anything that you're not good at. Ironically, even though I brought up traditional media, I would say traditional media quickly becomes not valuable, a waste of time and money. I've got some interesting ones. Sitting on decisions that you know you need to make. This one's gonna land with a lot of people. Here's a waste of time. You hired a store manager and deep down after 4 days, you know they weren't the one, but you don't have an alternative and you're about to open and you sit on that shit for 4 fucking months, which sucks you down in doing dumb shit that you don't need to be doing, because if you had a competent fucking manager, you'd be set. How'd that one land for everyone? Yep, that's what I thought. So waste of time comes in very sneaky places. Notice where I went? It wasn't a marketing tactic, that was an operational thing. You having a bad manager after 5 days, but you're about to open. And so instead, you do the wrong thing when we all do it. And then what it cost you was fucking 14 hours a week divided by 20 minutes and 2 hours at a time for 4 months, instead of just eating shit on the opening and you being the manager that day and teaching the kids through osmosis and letting one of them ladder up because they saw the right way to do it. We all make this mistake.
Hey, Gary, thanks for your time. You've grown a lot of brands and built a great reputation. I'm curious what leadership competencies you would recommend developing specifically in a young brand like it.
That's a great question. So are you asking it from like a brand ethos, or are you asking it for yourself as an operator in kind of your world?
More of operator in our world, specifically developing leaders underneath us.
I love that question, brother. So let me jump in this. Then first, man, I'm so inspired right now. I want you all to I'm building this up because I really want you to hear me. Your employees are never the enemy. Ever. Because even if you went through this scenario that I just talked about and you hired Carol and now she stinks, you're in charge. You can be like, Carol, I'm sorry it didn't work out. So the number one trait to build something meaningful is to know that you work for them, not the reverse. It is the biggest mistake some of the people on the video right now are making. That their conscious or subconscious is, I pay you, you work for me. That is death on arrival to building leaders. The second you understand that you work for them, even though you pay them, is the second you have a chance to start building leaders. Because like children, employees take the essence of the actual leader. I'm gonna save you a lot of time and therapy. If your locations are shit shows, it's 100% your fault. The second you get into that mindset of accountability is the second everything gets remarkable. Your inability to be candorous and get into conflict, so that means you can't fire, like I did as a kid, is why you have some fucked up situation. You being overly emotional because when you're stressed, you lash out, even though you come back later and say, sorry team, I'm just having a bad day, is why your fucking system is fucked up. So accountability, humility, like I told earlier, like be self-aware, like you might not be good at certain things. That's okay. Humility, self-awareness, ultimate accountability, and then a big one tactically, asking what makes them tick. Right? You hire a kid, they're your manager, right? You go to him, Johnny, and say, Johnny, you have any goals long-term? Like you talk to him like your younger brother in this scenario. Like, do you ever want to own a bunch of, no, I want to get good grades, I'm just making some, that's amazing. Like, how do I make this awesome for you? Are you like the kind of crazy student where you'll be nervous and like, if you give me 2 weeks notice, I can tell you can take this Saturday off even though it's a big Saturday because you got to get ready for SATs? Do you know what that would mean to that kid?
Yeah.
Or he could be like me and be like, yeah, bro, I fucking hate school. I'd love to own 100 of these. Be like, all right, bro, then let me show you what it's about. I'm gonna go harder with you, no soft shit. You're like, if you want to fucking do this, it's real life. You know, so like one-on-one marketing, communication, mentoring. One of the big mistakes I've seen from bad managers is they manage everyone the same. And they think that's a good thing. Gary, you don't get, I treat everyone the same. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. That's not how life works. Like, you have to manage those 1, 2, 3, 4 employees you have in the stores. And how many stores you got?
I'm with, so we have 9 currently open.
Great. So how many employees do you guys have per store usually?
We're around 15.
Right. One-on-one fucking management to 15 people.
Yep.
And you know this, 3 or 4 of those 15 are like, whoa, there might be something here for us, for them. And so obviously that's the right thing to do too. But it's that shit, brother. Telling you, everything I just said is real as shit.
Gary, appreciate you being on here and love the real as shit answers you give to everything. So appreciate it. This question's a little bit different. We have a lot of other businesses as well. So this was kind of a conglomerate question we came up with. But how would you best encourage busy entrepreneur running multiple businesses, doing a lot of different things, servicing clients, to embrace kind of creating content that's more authentic to them and their message?
Let's break that down. So what would you, in more plain English, are you just struggling to get out content? Do you want to build your personal profile for opportunity? Is it to drive the business? Like, is it for you? Is it for others? Like, go further.
You're trying to convince our clientele basically to get out there more and be able to create content towards their message.
Why? Because you're servicing businesses in another business?
Yes. Along with some of our own people in our own store, some of our managers and some of our employees, you know, they want to create their own thing and be their entrepreneur and create their own businesses. So
I'm about to say something to you that is fucking at the top of my list of my favorite sayings.
Love it.
Don't convince, have conviction. Do you know what my answer is to what you just said? You just told me the 2 groups you're talking to are businesses, business people that you're servicing, and employees that talk shit in your own company about how they're gonna do their own fucking shit. So let's break that down. You've got the first group, which it's 2024. It's very clear some of the tactics that work, and this will help grow their business, and we're talking about business. And the second group is youngsters who claim that they're gonna be big boys and girls and entrepreneurs too. Why on earth are you convincing? Spending 1 minute on convincing either one of those groups is a minute you're not spending on finding someone you don't have to convince. Have conviction in your belief. People ask me all the time, like, Gary, can you come in and convince? I'm like, no. I'm gonna go shoot my shit. Like, I could care less if any of you do anything I'm talking about right now. But I'm spitting with so much passion because it would make me happy if you did, because it would work. Conviction, not convincing.
Love it.
Ironically, conviction is what convinces. Make sense?
Awesome. Thank you.
Gotcha. Because this, you know what's happening in that scenario. You're like dragging the bottom 20%.
Yeah. We talk about that, spending 80% of your time on the bottom 20%.
When you look at the 20%, be like, that's cool, Carl, but if you don't do this shit, it's not gonna happen. See ya. Like, walk away. It's just like parenting. Parenting lost its way because we over coddle and we put all this energy on bad behavior.
Got it.
Why would you have to convince, what part of life does a 20-year-old that talks shit that they want to build their own business one day not understand making content is a good idea for them for opportunity? Now, I understand being introverted and I understand like it not coming natural. I get all that shit. But guess what? Working out and eating well doesn't come natural to me and I do it. It pisses me off, but I'd like to live longer. Like people like, Gary, it doesn't come natural. I'm like, okay. Like, life is about getting comfortable with things that are not comfortable.
Love it. Appreciate you.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Gary. My question is on give, ask. What's the rubric or filters you use in the specific situation to know in this area it's time to ask?
Intuition. Intuition. Yeah, and if you're just like that, let me rephrase. That sounds like, because there's two versions, right? People go in for the ask too fast. That means they don't know how to give. They've been manipulating. And then there's what you might be referring to, which is, let's break it down. Like, why are you scared to ask? I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that it's a fear. I just keep giving, eventually I ask, but it just feels late. Intuition says it's later than it should have been.
Why? Logically, let's actually take a step back. What's your ask in your scenario?
I'll do a parallel. We have a partner of mine have a business coaching consulting company. So a lot of times we'll do a lot of those interactions, the free, we do it for friends and stuff, but even more so capable clients, have things like that. And then sometimes give a little bit longer than we probably should. With the heart of generosity, we like it, but
Me too, brother. There is no should, you know that, right? Like you could sit here and say, Gary, I was helping this person, I gave them 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You might be subjectively thinking it should have been 2 before you asked, and I might look at it and subjectively say, no, bro, you should have given 4.
Yeah.
It's completely subjective, you know that, right?
Yeah.
And remember, this is very important. Freemium, funnels, are you giving or are you giving with the expectation that they start paying you? Because the reason I never struggle with this is I literally make it that black and white. And I do it too. I mean, I'm a very compensated human for my advice at this point in my life. And if I'm giving, I'm giving. And it doesn't even cross my mind that literally it got to that good of a level of of course I'm somewhere in the back, I'm aware that it might. But when I tell you I've never been
your gut with it.
Yeah, brother, and I've never been disappointed.
Good. I like it.
And you may not be disappointed. It sounds like you actually might not have been disappointed. You might just think theoretically you're not doing it well. But good news, if you've never been upset about it, you're doing it perfect.
Good. Thanks.
There is no right in that scenario.
Gary, thanks for taking the call, man. One of the things I love most about your content and who you are as a human is your audience is so wide. Yeah. But what I love most is you shoot your shit straight and there's no sugarcoating and it's cussing and it's all the things that I love as a human and how I want to portray my message to somebody. My ask for you, it really the question is with the age gap that we look to hire, whether it's with or somebody else, it's harder to kind of grasp that with somebody that might be from the ages of 18 to 24. They don't work that way anymore. How do you continue to get buy-in from that age gap of shooting your shit like you're supposed to and having that real fucking hustle conversation? And I get we're trying to pull a lot of maybe out of an 18 to a 22-year-old. for what we're looking for. But what I want to do is I want people to continue to engage in that type of conversation. Your content draws to me because you shoot the shit the way I want to shoot it. How do I get that to market to kids between the ages of 18 to 24 and outside of that culture too in our community, and giving that shot of, you know, giving without expecting to receive anything? Like, how do we continue to be that straightforward and still get it all back in return?
By deconstructing it the following way. Do you know that the average 18 to 24-year-old that is not even that talented in business or entrepreneurship can make $20 an hour easily doing any dumb shit on earth on the internet?
Yeah.
Do you know that? Do you like really know it?
Maybe not to the exact dollar amount, but yes, I understand that the
like whether it's
dumbest shit
yeah, like
paid.
whether it's just a person that has a couple thousand people following them, selling them a t-shirt or getting ads from social media or a brand deal or going to Facebook Marketplace and picking up 3 things for free and then flipping them on eBay. The answer to your question is, first, it requires everyone here to swallow a lot of humble pie and understand that we want these kids to, like, even if you're the best person on earth, you want these kids to work hard for your store for $12.45 an hour. It's not our era anymore, bro.
Right.
You think I would have worked anywhere? I wouldn't have graduating college or high school. I don't know if I would have made it out of middle school if the internet existed when I was coming up the game. I would have made too much money in 4th grade. So we have to be realistic and understand, like, I'm glad the world used to run on 17-year-old us's who were meant to be fucking winners. And the fucking McDonald's and the TGI Fridays and the fucking car wash benefited for that in the short term. Bro, 16-year-old you isn't fucking working at 7-Eleven. And we have to swallow that humble pie. And telling them, like, go hard work is not gonna, like, be a lead gen for them to work for us either.
Right.
I think we need to be careful to not come off selfish and audacious. Right?
Yeah, that's 100% agree. It's more of the care aspect for us, which we're good with. What I have trouble doing is sugarcoating that. Like, this isn't fucking hard. Like you just said, I'm not asking for rocket science. I'm not asking for this. It's just like, how do we help?
Are you talking about once they're in the door or as content to get them?
I'm talking about relaying. You do such a good job at articulating your message to ages from X to Y. And you're real all the way through. And I want to be able to do the same thing from X to Y by being authentic as fuck and telling you exactly how it is. Not care. I have a hard time not caring if I don't want to say hurting your feelings, so that's just not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't want you to be pissed off after the conversation because I had a real conversation with you. And this could be excluding business.
No, but this is a really interesting point. I'm listening very carefully. I'm putting out content. I'm not having a real conversation. It sounds like you're bleeding into the one-on-one conversations in the store. I'm asking.
With him.
No, my thought process is I guess you're right. I'm talking about your content specifically and how I want to live that same type of I want to live your same type of content throughout my lifestyle as well. I want to incorporate, I believe, a lot of what you believe.
So you can put that out?
Yes.
But in the way that you're talking, yeah, go ahead.
I want to be able to articulate it so it makes sense to all age gaps, not maybe I have younger children as well. So maybe I'm articulating it for a 13-year-old for my twins, but then I want to turn around and say the same type of message for somebody who's 24 years old.
Yeah, so I do that contextually because I make it relevant to them. Even like I'm talking to all of you right now, I know what's actually going on with smart 18-year-olds and why they're not working at Walmart or Target or Everbowl or, you know what I mean? Like, The way you do that is by being empathetic to the truth. But the part that most caught my attention, why I'm staying here, even though we're running out of time, is I think this is gonna help a lot of people. There's a very big difference in the way I make content. I keep the same essence when I talk to my employees, but it is a very different line.
That's what I needed to hear.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Because I see that,
Thank you so
because
much.
I sense that that's where you were going. You can put out content like me too. What you're talking about is walking into one of your stores and being like, what the fuck are these goofballs doing?
To an extent, and people are maybe laughing on this call because that is me and that is who I am. But I'm a big teddy bear at the same time. I hear that too. So it's like, it's just,
No, I got it. And it's why I intuitively started where I started, which is like, the fuck do you want from someone who chose to make $12 an hour? It's a different level of it's just truth now.
yeah.
It's just fucking true. Like, what are you gonna be? I love when entrepreneurs are mad at capitalism. They're like, yeah, this is all fucked up. I'm like, you mean capitalism? The fuck are you mad at a 17-year-old that knows how to make $80,000 a month selling fucking digital assets on fucking Roblox? You should be envious of them. You should put them out of, just because you need $12 an hour employees, then fucking figure it out. Do a different business. Change your shit up. Offer mentorship classes for kids that work. Like, you want better caliber? You got to offer more than fucking $12 an hour. It's just real life. Or you flip the script. I've got all sorts of ideas on this. I think about this shit every day because of how I grew up. I actually think that there's a whole fucking concept of going 60 to 80. Like, I got a really wild one for all of you of like, how do you create a whole social media campaign where you're like, we want to hire people 60 to 80 and then make them part of our mastermind, like, crew. Like, you work your hours, but then we do this together on Sundays. I have a funny feeling all of you, all the bozos you have working in your stores right now, you're like, fuck man, I'd love to have a mature 65-year-old that crushed instead.
Yeah, I need to fill that 8 to 3 o'clock gap. I know everybody's saying the same thing on this call, so let's figure that out, right? But
it's the 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, when the kids are in school, that's the gap. So you're exactly right. That's the, we target a market from 30 young kids in school to, that range of just need some extra cash or whatever that looks like.
I'll give you a piece of content that really is cool, which is like, you locally, for all of you, this is my last point. Hey, hey, we're hiring everyone. This is not any ageism, but I'm really fascinated by anybody who's watching this that's 55 to 85. By the way, you're gonna spend $300 targeting people 55 to 85. Anybody who's 55 to 85, you just might be bored. And you might have been like an iconic accountant or an executive. Like, look, I'm aware that I can only pay $14.50 an hour. That's not gonna change your lifestyle. But maybe hanging out with us here, and this is where you're gonna have to think of one creative idea. And if you're part of this, I'm also doing this monthly wine club for everybody, or gathering, or education system, or just one other hook. I think people would be fascinated by how many people in their 60s and 70s are like, you know what, fuck this, I'm bored. Let me go into the fucking Everbowl and work 3 days a week from fucking 8 to 3. Like, people aren't trying creative shit.
Thank you so much. When you buy the jets, I'm there, buddy.
Love you. Thanks, everybody. I gotta run. Pleasure to see all of you.